In desert lands where shadows dance on golden dunes, a society thrives with tales they sing by radiant moons. Each city-state enchanted a distinct realm of its own, blossoming oases where wealth and harmony have grown. For years they embraced peaceful competition's grace, seeking greatness through crafts, wisdom, and their chase. Noble families flourished side by side in friendly accord, building dreams upon sands where culture was adored. Now tension's tempest casts a somber veil, as unity's mirage fades and spirits start to fail. A war of unification looms with fierce embrace, threatening to engulf this realm in battle's fiery blaze. Brothers and sisters once bound by shared delight, now face a daunting choice between darkness and light. Will they succumb to fury and let kinship be undone, or find the path to peace where destinies are one? I grew up in the city-state of Shams Medina as the middle son of the Al Pasha royal family. My father Mustafa raised me and my brother Kian along with my half-brother Basil because my mother died when I was young. My father and brother don't like to talk about her, so what little I have learned is mainly from gossip with the servants. They said that she is very kind to them and treated everyone fairly. My father remarried a woman named Samira, who I think is a viper that I don't consider a part of my family. Samira is Fasil's mother and she wants him to be the heir instead of my brother. I try to spend as much time with him as I can to show him that his mother's way of doing things is not the only way. I was much more carefree when I was growing up and was mostly allowed to do whatever I wanted to. I spent a lot of my time training the hunting hyenas and reading ancient books and scrolls that I snuck out of my brother's collection. Kian would also take me when he went to visit the other cities of Atfal al-Shamsi, and we made friends with many of the other princes. There was a small shop in Zalam Medina that I always liked to visit because they made the best mutton pies that Kian and I really enjoyed. One night, as we were heading back to the keep from the market, we were attacked by people who were wearing masks. Kian drew his short sword to protect us, but all I could do was scream for help and pray that some guards would hear us. There were too many of them, however, and Kian could not hold them back for long before they knocked both of us unconscious. I woke up next to my brother in the back of a cart tied up. Our captors were very careful to keep their masks on at all times and always called each other by code names. They took us to an abandoned estate in the sands outside the city and kept us there for what felt like an eternity. They made sure that we were well fed and that we were not injured. None of them would speak when they came to check up on us. My brother would try to talk with them, but they ended up tying cloths around our mouths instead. Finally, we heard shouting and the clanging of metal above us. Our father's men had finally arrived. The small group that had taken us prisoner fought to the death, and we were never able to figure out who they were, what their motives were, or who might have paid them. When we returned home, our father banned us from visiting any of the other cities because he suspected the attack had been set up by a rival noble family. After that, I threw myself into studying and training different fighting techniques because I did not want to be weak or a liability to my brother again. I found a book hidden away in my brother's library behind a stack of scrolls called The Iron Heart of the Desert. I felt a special resonance with the martial treatise that drew me to keep reading it. As I did, I found notes and pictures in the margins that had been added by my ancestors through many generations. I learned of superhuman feats that matched even the masters of the mystic arts, but these were achieved through strict training of the body, mind, and soul. Discipline and fitness would protect my family from any more threats. As I secretly sharpened my mind and my body, my brother delved into statecraft and diplomacy. He spent a decade trying to rebuild our family's connections with the nobility of other cities, and even risked visiting them again as a sign of goodwill. Despite Kian's best efforts, tensions between the city-states continued to grow, as did tensions between my brother and father, who continued to disagree on what to do. My father believed that the sword was the only way to fix things, but my brother did not want to abandon the diplomatic ties that he had worked so hard to build. Recently, my father has been growing more cruel and paranoid. He hardly trusts anyone anymore, and he always feels that people are plotting against him or my half-brother. The only people he talks to anymore are his artisteron Solar and his second wife Samira. Somehow, he came to believe that Kian was planning to overthrow him due to their disagreements about going to war. As a result, my father sent my brother away to Rin to seek an alliance with the Banalarian nation. Everyone at court knew it was a fool's errand to enlist the peaceful people's help in war-making. But Kian didn't have enough support among the lesser nobles to disobey my father's order. It has been 2 years without any word from my brother, and I worry about what has happened to him. My father refuses to give me any news and keeps claiming that Kian is a deserter, but I know that is not true, so I snuck out on a merchant vessel and left a note for my half-brother. The ship landed in Lauren, and I set about the task of finding Kian. I searched taverns and inns for any trace of him and tried to gain an audience with the local nobles, but came up with nothing. Without any leads, I wandered aimlessly from town to town, until I found myself far inland at the kingdom's frontier. Without anything else to do and feeling disheartened by my failure to turn up even the smallest of hints, I lost myself in the cups of Capstone's taverns. One night, when I was deep in drink, a bard stopped at the tavern on her way through town and soothed my woes with song. I spent the last of my coin buying her drinks, and we spent the evening talking about our travels. As night wound down, I couldn't help but risk despair by asking one last time about my brother. I questioned her, and a look of surprise crossed her face, followed by one of recognition. When she passed through town a few months earlier, she had seen someone with a strong resemblance to me. He was at the military camp trying to convince one of the captains to introduce him to the marshal. I pressed her for more information, but she apologized and said that was all she knew. I persisted, and eventually she excused herself, leaving me with my thoughts. As I sat there with empty mugs and pockets, a group approached my table with a proposition to join them. Emboldened by the news and the bruise, I accepted the offer and set out to build new relationships that might lead me to my brother.